Yo, before we start this video, hit that subscribe button. Yeah, right there. Right in the right-hand corner. It's right there. Thank you. Welcome back, Sentinels. Welcome back. Another episode of Black Father Sentinel, where we are changing the narrative of how fathers are depicted as well as discussed in today's society. I want to start off by saying thank you to all who have subscribed. Thank you to all who have hit that like button. And thank you to all who have left a comment. Let's continue to keep going so we can push this narrative out there. Now, with that being said, I'd like to go into our topic of discussion today. And that is, stop arguing in front of these kids. Now, what do I mean by argument? An argument is this in my mind, all right? So, my ego is involved. I'm not trying to hear nothing that you're saying, right, as the opposing sex. I'm not trying to hear nothing that you're saying. My ego is involved. I just want you to hear what I'm saying, and this is what it is, and vice versa. She just wants to hear you. You just want me to hear what you're saying, and that's it. We're not really listening with the intent to create a resolution. That's an argument to me, right? As opposed to having civil discourse, where I'll allow you to speak, right? You say all your points, I analyze your points, and then you allow me to speak, and then we come up with some type of solution for whatever the problem is that we're discussing. But today we're talking about arguing. Stop arguing in front of these kids. Now, I have a few points that I want to discuss in terms of why we shouldn't argue in front of the kids. Now, if there's more, and I'm sure there's more, make sure y'all leave that down in the comment. I'm curious. Remember, we're just trying to get better. That's all we're trying to do. So no shots being thrown, nothing like that. I'm not going to take it personal, but I want to hear other reasons of why we shouldn't argue in front of our children. All right? So 3 things that we're going to talk about today. So when we do argue in front of our children, we're teaching them how to interact with the opposite sex. That's number 1. Number 2, I think it causes division, right? And number 3, it's teaching them how to take advantage of the situation. And we all saw that before, and I'm going to break that down in a little bit. All right? So let's go into number 1. It's teaching them how to interact with the opposite sex, right? So if you have to remember that us as fathers, as well as mothers, right, we're laying the blueprint for our children of how they're going to be into society. If you think of it like this, they come into this world as a blank slate. They don't know nothing. So us being the foundation, which is home, everything that they do when they get older, they learn that from somewhere. And majority of the time, that comes from home, right? The foundation. So we're teaching them how to interact with the opposite sex. So if we're constantly arguing with each other, right, going back and forth, and remember what an argument is. It's ego-based. It's emotion-driven, right? We're not trying to hear the other person's point. We're just trying to go in and make our point the law. We don't care about what the opposite side is saying. That's an argument. So when we teach them that, guess what they're going to grow up to find, right? For the male child, a girl that argued, right? It becomes the norm for them. That's just what they're accustomed to. I saw mommy and daddy do it, so therefore I gotta find me a woman like that that's gonna argue back with me. Same thing on the flip side with the young ladies. I saw mommy and daddy do it, so therefore I have to find a male or my counterpart that does the same thing. I feel comfortable in that state, right? So we're teaching them how to interact with the opposite sex, and we know that that's just not good. Arguments aren't good. Right? There's a proper way to have a discussion with someone, even if you disagree. And sometimes you have to agree to disagree. So we have to begin to show them that how to disagree in a positive fashion, or how to disagree respectfully. You see what I mean? So that's number 1. We have to stop arguing in front of these kids because we're teaching them how to interact with the opposite sex. And then number 2, I think it causes division. And this is the one that hurts me the most, right? So if you notice, and I'm not sure if it's just me, then maybe I'm talking to myself. If I'm not, drop some thumbs up in the comments, drop some fires in the comments to let me know that it's just not me. But it causes division. And what I mean by that is that the house becomes divided, or the relationship becomes divided because we're constantly arguing back and forth. You know, even biblically, and I'm not saying that I'm all the way into church or in the Bible, or I'm prescribed to or subscribed to a certain religion. But it says, how can 2 walk together unless they agree? And even sometimes you can agree to disagree, but that's still an agreement. But arguing causes division amongst our children, right? So sometimes they lean towards the mom because they know how mom feel about it and they don't want to let mom down. Or sometimes they lean towards dad because they know how dad feels about a certain situation, so they don't want to let dad down. And I don't want my kids having to pick a side like that. Like, they're too small. They got other little worries that they need to concentrate on, like school or sports or working on their reading or working on their writing or working on their arithmetic or math or whatever the case may be, than them having to worry about picking a side. And I think, I never seen it growing up because, again, I grew up without a father, but I think that it does something to their little spirit, right? It makes them feel uncomfortable when they're around both mommy and daddy because they're not sure if a discussion arises, if they're going to argue or not, right? So I think it causes a division in that fashion, so we have to do a better job with that. Like, the argument has got to stop. And I understand that there are going to be some disagreements. That's quite natural, right? You're not going to agree with everything. It's two individuals trying to come together and form uniformity. So quite naturally, because I am a male, I might disagree with some things because of my perspective or my experiences in life. And because she is a female, quite naturally, she's going to disagree with some of the things that I believe in. And I think that's fair and that's okay. But it's the way that we discuss it amongst each other as well in front of the children. So we have to keep that in mind. Behind closed doors, maybe we can go back and forth. Maybe we can figure it out. Maybe we can make up afterwards. But in front of the children, they don't know how to process that. So they may think it's like overly aggressive. Somebody might get hurt or somebody might get harmed. They don't know how to process that information. So I just think it's best to not argue in front of children. I'm talking about at all. They should see a united front at all times. Now, that's not fronting. To me, it's just teaching our children, again, we're laying out the blueprint. It's teaching our children how to interact with the opposite sex, how to disagree in a civil manner, how to be respectful when you disagree, right? And then lastly, the number 3 is, and I'm sure a lot of you saw this because I see this, right? I can bear witness to this as well. It teaches them how to take advantage of certain situations. Now, I saw this, and it's one of the things that it ticks me off. It pisses me off because I'm not even going to lie to you, right? So, say, for example, you have a situation to where, all right, we at mom's house. Mom gets to tripping. This is coming from a kid's mentality. Mom gets to tripping. She doing this, that, and another. Dad receives a text, can you come get us? So dad immediately, because he's trying to spend time with the children, he's going to respond, sure, y'all can come over at any time. Not even knowing or unknowingly to him that a game is being played. So they got told no, or they couldn't get something, or they couldn't get their way, and now they're reaching out to you. And so as soon as you pick them up, or whatever the case may be, boom, they get to your house, and then they do the thing that they were just told that they couldn't do at mom's house. So it teaches them how to manipulate the game like that. And then once you have that type of mentality, if you build upon that, and build upon that, you're going to become pretty good at that. So now where do they take that? They take that into the school, and they take that into the world. They take that into whatever endeavor that they're involved in. It teaches them how to manipulate and hustle and scheme and do all that type of stuff. And to me, I don't like that. I'm not with that at all. Like, for me, my approach is always just be honest. Give a person an opportunity to tell you yes or no by presenting all the facts to them, okay? Nobody needs to manipulate me because I'm just going to be honest and upfront with you. And that goes in business as well as my children. So again, like, we got to just stop arguing in front of these kids. Now, a solution to this is this. If you can't control your emotions, right? You don't have the emotional intelligence to keep your tongue behind your teeth when somebody says something, or the opposite sex says something to you that you want to respond to, but you're so emotional that you just blurt out things. If you can't handle yourself emotionally, the best thing to do is to just take a breath. Simply just breathe it in and walk away. Because I'm telling you, it's going to help you, because in that moment, you're so emotional that you're just going to blurt out, lash out, cut below the belt, and then it's like a snowball effect. Things just get worse from there. So now the female is not allowing you to see the child because she upset that you hurt her feelings, or now you doing stuff out of spite to hurt her feelings, right? It's just a snowball effect. So we have to be mindful of what we're doing in front of our children. We have to stop the arguing, y'all. Like, it's not conducive to a healthy lifestyle or a healthy upbringing to our children. We just have to stop. And again, I take full accountability in my part in everything. I have fell victim to this too. But I think the goal and why I made this channel is for us to acknowledge where we're wrong at and then correct it and then do better. So that's just my disposition with it. That's my stance on it. I think we should stop arguing in front of kids. Now, I know there's a tons of other reasons of why we shouldn't argue in front of kids, and I'm curious to hear what you all have to say. Make sure you leave it down there in the comments. Make sure you let me know. Because again, I'm just trying to be better. And I'm trying to also offer some resources to other fathers so they can be better as well. Come on, fathers, let's continue to fight. Ladies, I think you in on this one too, but again, specifically, I'm talking to the fathers. Yo, we gotta be the biggest person. Just walk away, take a deep breath and walk away. And I know she may be saying things out of spite that's really just gonna like pierce your heart, but looking for that response, but don't give them nothing. Stop arguing in front of these kids. Now let's go, fathers. Continue to be stand-up gents, man. I know y'all can do it. I'm on y'all side. I know y'all on my side. Let's continue to movement pushing forward, all right? It's Black Father Sentinel again. I appreciate y'all.